What is up, YouTube? We got another video yet again for you. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you a bunch of gym advice that I wish I knew sooner on this journey, right? Because I would have gotten there so much quicker. I would have knew so much more if I knew this information, right? I'm trying to make your guys' lives easier in the gym by giving you a bunch of advice that you can take with you after this video and also apply, right? But remember to apply it because it means nothing. All the notes that you take, all the books that you read, everything that you do means nothing if you do not implement it into action, right? Your split/workout plan, right? You're not going to find the most fucking optimal workout plan, the best split that's possibly ever made, the split that's gonna transform you in 2 fucking weeks from fucking a skinny fuck to Ronnie Coleman. That's not possible. You're not gonna find a perfect split, right? Because everybody is different, right? Everybody has their different unique ways that their body reacts to different workouts and certain workout splits, right? So find what works for you, right? Because in the beginning, I was doing like 2 muscle groups per body part, right? I was doing a regular split, and then I kind of plateaued a little bit, right? I tried to see, it was getting boring, right? So I tried to see what I could do to make it more exciting, what I could do differently, right? So I started watching more Greg Plitt, right? And he has more of like a bro split type of workout split, right? He separates individual muscle groups into different days. Like, for example, right? Monday would be chest, Tuesday would be arms, right? Thursday would be legs, right? It's different muscle groups because my split before that, I used to do 2 different muscle groups per workout, right? So I do like back and biceps, but instead now back is on a separate day and biceps is on another day, right? It's just finding what works for you. Stick to a workout plan, right? Because anything works. As long as you stay consistent enough, anything will work. Tips and tricks that people tell you about, all the workouts that you find on TikTok or Instagram, they work, right? But you just have to stay consistent long enough. The reason why people say they don't work is because they haven't stuck it out long enough and they haven't stayed consistent long enough, right? So just know, you're not going to find the perfect split that's going to fucking transform you in 2 days, right? It's just not happening, right? So find what works for you. And then when you find that split, figure out what I can do to edit that split, right? Because I didn't exactly copy Greg Plitt's split, right? I did it for a week and I figured out what my body likes and what it doesn't like. And I implemented more things, right? I changed up the split to my body's liking. And I've seen the most growth I have ever seen since then, right? Because you know exactly what your body likes and what it doesn't like. The people posting this stuff on TikTok, they're not you. They don't know how your body reacts, right? So change it up based on your needs, right? The next point I want to go over is consistent. Fuck, I spelled that shit wrong. Consistency, right? Not these results. You won't have any results if you can't stay consistent, right? I work out, I guess you can say 5 times a week, but it's most likely 7 times a week because I do extra conditioning work on Saturday and Sunday, so I don't really have any rest. But my real workouts are Monday through Friday, right? You only need like what, four to 6 times a week, right? Go to the gym, hit the gym an hour each and every single day and get 10 minutes of conditioning in, right? We all have the same 24 hours, right? Out of 24 hours, there is no way in hell, right? You can't hit the gym for an hour out of 24 hours. You can't condition for 10 minutes out of 24 hours in a day. There's no way you can't do that, right? And honestly, bro, the gym, it's not difficult, right? It may take a little bit of getting used to at first, but it's not, once you get it down, it is not hard at all. The only hard part might just be showing up on the days you don't feel like it, right? But the truth is, everybody has those days. Not everybody feels like going to the gym every single day, right? But it's about being a man. It's about growing up, right? Because if you don't go to the gym on the days that you don't feel like going to the gym, I guarantee you there is another person out there who feels the exact same way that you do, but they still showed up day in and day out. Right? So why can't you? Why are they being more of a man than you? If you're a woman, why are they being more of a woman than you? Right? Do not get lost in the sauce, right? Dude, don't get fucking lost in the sauce, right? But this will carry momentum, right? So when you start staying consistent, right, it will carry momentum throughout the days that you are in the gym, right? Because if you skip a day, I've been through this so many times, right? I've skipped a day, right? And then my momentum completely fell off. I did not want to go to the next day. And there was times where I didn't go the next day, right? Because that momentum was just lost, right? So when you start being disciplined, that momentum will carry into the day, into the next day, into the next day, into the next day, right? And it ultimately came down to, right, is if you stay consistent, right, even if it's not the best effort that you could have put in that day, you're going to get the result eventually. As long as you stay consistent and you work hard and you keep improving, you're going to get the result, right? There is no not getting the result if you just work hard, right? So in the back of my head, I always knew that if I just showed up today, you know, that result will come. I will get the result if I just give it one more extra day. If I just keep going for my future self, my future self will thank me when I have this dream body, knowing that I did not give up through all the tough times that I wanted to give up, right? So consistency plays a big role in this, right? The next point I want to make is calories. For me personally, right, the type of food I eat doesn't really matter as much as the calories that are going in my body, right? Because I eat a lot. I don't eat junk food, but I don't stick to the truest diet personally. Like me, I don't have the best diet, right? Like I splurge a lot. I eat what? Last week I ate like one honey bun. It's about how much calories are going in your body and how much calories are leaving your body, right? Because the type of food, right, it may affect your skin. It may affect the amount of fat that you have. It may affect your physique a little bit. But when it comes to losing weight and gaining muscle, the only way to gain muscle is by adding more calories than your calorie maintenance. The only way to lose weight is by having less calories than what your calorie maintenance is, right? That's the only way it's possible, right? So if you're eating junk food, but you're still under your calories and you're still going to the gym, you're going to lose weight. It's going to happen, right? So it's not as complicated as you think, right? Of course, have a good diet, but focus more on the calories in versus calories out, right? Because I promise you, that will change your life and it won't make it as complicated as you think it is, right? Because when I started getting into this gym stuff, I never really tracked my calories because it was just too fucking complicated. I would have given up if I would just worry about every single calorie that I counted, right? So I worried about what I was consuming, what my calorie maintenance is, and what I need to be eating, right? In order to get bigger. And also getting protein in, right? Getting the same amount of protein as your body weight. That's a stable amount of protein that you should be getting each and every single day, right? The next point I'm going to talk about is high volume versus low volume, right? High volume, you're going to build more defined muscle mass. You're going to build more Greg Plitt type of muscle mass, right? You're going to be able to see your abs. You're going to have highly defined muscles, right? But with low volume, right? Let's say 3 to 4 reps, 3 to 6 reps, you're going to build more mass type, right? The mass that pushes the weight, the mass that increases your fucking bench up to like 400, right? That type of mass. But with high volume, right, you're building the definition, right? You may not be able to do the highest weight possible because you're doing so many reps, but you're building the volume, the definition in your muscles, right? So when I switched from low volume to high volume, I started seeing more definition, but I also like to incorporate both at the same time, right? Because I love to bench, right? Bench is my favorite fucking lift ever, right? I just whoever made bench just deserves everything in the world, right? And I need my bench to increase, right? So on bench press, I do low volume, right? I don't do high volume on bench press, but with all my other sets and workouts that I do on chest day, right? They're all high volume to build that definition and more, appealing muscle mass, right? So that is definitely something that you need to take into account. Figure out which one you want to do. Do you want to strength train and build more bulkier muscle, or do you want to have more high volume and build like that Greek god physique, mold your physique, build that definition, right? You choose which one you want to do. Point supplements. I don't really have too many supplements that I personally taken, right? I never really was a big fan of supplements, the artificial stuff. But one thing I will couple things that I will recommend, right, is creatine. This worked so well for me. I started taking it in 8th grade. It is perfectly fine, bro. You're not gonna die, right? It's perfectly healthy. It's natural, right? You get creatine in your foods like meats, I believe, right? It's not gonna hurt you, bro. The only thing is, it's gonna give you positive results. You're gonna be fucking jacked, right? It's gonna increase your strength. It's gonna increase your muscle definition, right? There's no downside to taking it, right? Even if you're overweight, still take creatine, right? It's not going to make you fatter or anything, right? It's just that it stores water in your muscle group, right? Because the body is mostly made of water. Your muscles are mostly made of water, right? So it just does a great job at storing extra water that you put into your body, into your muscles, right? So when you're pairing creatine with this, you have to drink extra water, right? Because it's going to pull in the water into your muscles, right? And another thing that I took when I was skinny, right, was mass gainer, right? It was not the most healthiest, most cleanest option out there, right? But it will get you the result, right? I was hungry for the fucking results, right? I was tired of being skinny, right? I need to start my fitness journey, so I took mass gainer, right? I got this from a guy named Vincent Fisher, right? I watched one of his videos, right? And he said he took mass gainer to get big and have a great transformation. It's like, oh, let me go do that, right? So I did that. I took like 3-4 scoops every single night, bro. When I tell you I felt like I was going to die, I literally thought I was going to die. When I got into bed, my stomach was hurting crazy at night, right? But I did what I had to do to get the results, right? You can even add a little bit of peanut butter to it to get some extra calories in, as well as milk, right? Milk is something I want to talk about, right? Milk isn't like any other liquid, right? You can consider milk a food at this point, right? The calories that you get from milk, right, are going to be the food-like calories, right? So you can count that to your calorie goal, like if you're trying to gain weight. But if you're trying to lose weight, be mindful of milk, right? Because in each milk glass is like 200 to 300 calories, right? So be mindful of that, right? But like water and stuff, you don't have to worry about that because water flushes in and it flushes out, right? Speaking of water, I want to talk about bloating. You drink more water, right? You're going to bloat less in the face, right? You may bloat a little bit more in the ab area during the day when you drink a lot of this water, but your body will get used to it, right? But when you drink more water, right, it flushes the sodium, the excess sodium that's in your face from things like fast food, right? Don't eat fucking fast food, right? It's going to bloat your face up. It has so much sodium, so much salt and stuff in it. But water does a great job of flushing this stuff out, right? To make sure that you have nice jawline, you can see your cheekbones and everything, right? So drink more water. Another thing that I do, right, conditioning. Your conditioning sessions do not have to be an hour fucking long, bro. Because if your conditioning sessions are an hour to 2 hours every single day, you're not going to stay consistent. That's why you always find yourself not staying consistent with conditioning, right? You're going to give all your energy to one session, right? And then the next day you feel fucking tired and not able to move because you did so much for one day, right? Separate it into 10-15 minutes each and every single day. Use the Stairmaster, right? Use incline walking. Those are the only two I recommend. You can run, right? But the reason why I did my 5 a.m. runs for so long, right? I ran almost like literally every single day is just to build my mindset, right? I wasn't trying to lose weight or lean down, right? I was just trying to build my fucking mindset because that shit was hard, bro. I'm not going to lie. That stuff was hard, right? Especially waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning each and every single day, going out for a run. It was hard, right? But yeah, 10-15 minutes each and every single day. That is all you need, right? Separate it up little by little, right? Because in the end, it will add up. Like you will not get burnt out the first week, the first 2 weeks, the first month because you're doing it at a steady rate, right? Versus if you were to do 2 hours each and every single day for a month, you really think you're going to stay consistent that whole month? Like, let's be real with ourselves here. It's not happening, right? So stick it to 10 to 15 minutes each and every single day after your workouts, right? And you'll be set, bro. Let's see. Sorry for this handwriting. I know it's absolutely trash. I don't even know if I spelled this right? But accountability, right? This is one of the biggest reasons why you cannot stay consistent is because you don't have anybody to hold you accountable for, right? The reason why a lot of coaches, I'm gonna spill some sauce right here. The reason why a lot of coaches, right, they get paid so much is because they keep the person accountable, right? People don't pay for the workouts. People don't pay for the information because you could just search it up on Google, right? They pay for the accountability that they can get. They pay for the results, right? Because when you pay for a coach, right, you're paying for accountability, right? He can get me to this result. He can hold me accountable. He can be on my ass so I don't skip any days, right? That's one of the main reasons why people get coaches, right? Because they need the accountability, right? Because the information is there, right? You have all these, you have Safari, you have ChatGPT, you have all these informational sites that you can go to, right? But people still want coaches because they hold them accountable, because they can't trust themselves to stay consistent, right? So find an accountability partner, someone to go to the gym with, or find a coach that can train you, right? That will keep you accountable, right? Because without accountability, right, it's going to be a little bit harder to stay consistent. I will tell you that, right? Using the gym as an escape method, right? Instead of smoking, instead of watching porn, instead of watching Netflix, go to the gym, right? Take all your anger, take all your stress, take all your frustration out in the gym, right? Because that's one of the main things that's helped me stay consistent, right? Because I go to the gym as an escape from life, right? It helps me it makes me feel good in the end, right? You'll feel good smoking, you'll feel good doing drugs, right? But in the end, bro, you will feel lifeless, right? You will regret the decision that you make. You will ultimately shorten your life, right? But with the gym, right, it is a form of self-improvement, right? You may not feel the best in the moment. You may not want to go, but if you can find a way to use it as an escape from all the stress that is going on in your life, a way to build yourself back up, a way to get yourself back together, right? It's the best form of escape that you can use because it is self-improvement. There's nothing wrong with going to the gym. Like, you can only get a positive from going to the gym. You're only going to build yourself up as a man. You're only going to get stronger. You're only going to build that discipline if you keep showing up and using the gym as an escape, right? Instead of all these other vices, scrolling on TikTok, Netflix, porn, drugs, all these other stuff, right? Start going to the gym and use it as an escape. This one is fucking crucial. This one is crucial, right? Chasing your disciplined self, not chasing the end result, not chasing the perfect abs, not chasing the perfect legs, the perfect chest, but chasing the disciplined version of yourself, right? Chasing the version of yourself that shows up to the gym because he's disciplined, not because he wants the perfect abs. You can have the goal to have the perfect abs, right? But you shouldn't be chasing that goal. You should be chasing the person who has the perfect abs, right? The person who has the perfect abs shows up each and every day, does his cardio, whether or not he gets the result, whether or not he has the abs or not, he shows up because he is disciplined. So therefore the abs attract to him, right? Because if you stay disciplined, you show up to the gym each and every single day, you're going to get the abs, right? But you're also going to build you're going to build a disciplined mindset. You're going to build so much extra just showing up, right? But if you do it just for the abs, right, you're going to stop being consistent. You're going to stop showing up because you don't have the abs in 2-3 weeks, right? Once you don't have the result in 2 weeks and you're chasing the perfect abs, you're going to give up. But if you chase that disciplined version of yourself that shows up, right, because you start chasing going to the gym every single day, going to condition every single day, right? You're going to be more consistent because you're chasing a disciplined version of yourself. You're chasing a disciplined mind instead of chasing the results. Because if you chase the results, if you don't get it in 2 weeks, you're not going to stay consistent. I know I just repeated myself, but I had to say it again, right? It's just like being in a relationship with a girl, right? Let's say you're so eager, like she's bad, 10 out of 10, right? But you don't want to break up with her, right? You're trying everything in your power not to break up with her, right? You're eventually going to break up with her because you're focused on the end goal. The end goal that you were focused on was not breaking up with her, right? But you're going to break up with her because you're not acting like yourself, right? You're not being more natural. You're changing yourself for the results, right? But the person who says, if we break up, we break up, right? I don't want to break up. I mean, I'm gonna do things that contribute to us not breaking up. But if we break up, we break up, right? I'm still gonna be myself. I still have things to do, right? They're not going to break up because he's not worried about the relationship not working out. So he's less stressed about it and he's more of himself, which will cause the relationship to flow more naturally, right? It's the same thing in the gym. You're focused on the end goal, right? You're going to stop being consistent. But if you focus on becoming that disciplined version of yourself, right? If I don't get abs, I don't get abs, but I still showed up day in and day out, and I still stay consistent, right? So if I don't get abs, it's not my fault because I put in the work. Chasing your disciplined self instead of chasing the end result. I tried to explain that the best I can. It's hard to explain that. I hope you guys understood it. But yeah, this is some of the tips that I wish that I knew earlier back then in the gym.